So to give you a personal story with this anti-counterfeiting, I was actually scammed by a scam artist back when I was living in Toronto. I was 20 years old, I was naive, and I was walking down the streets of Toronto, and a scam artist picked me up from out of the crowds. Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're gonna do a VeChain review. What is VeChain? Is VET a legit passive income stream, or is it a scam? So right now we're in one of our offices in my apartment because some of you have been complaining that my walls were too white and that I need to hang things on the wall. Well, I have something hanging on the wall. Though it looks like a whiteboard, it's actually a picture with nothing drawn on it. So there's that there. But anyways, today we're gonna really do a review on VeChain, much like we did with Tezos, to really look at this coin after I read the white paper. And I'm just gonna distill everything that I've learned after reading the white paper to see if whether this investment, this coin, is really worth investing in. I encourage you to watch till the end of this video because we're going to talk about the use cases of VeChain, which is the most important thing when it comes to investing in cryptos. So without further ado, please give this video a like and a subscribe, and then we'll head on into the video. So if I ask you the question, if you knew that Amazon and Alibaba were going to become such giants 20 years ago, would you have invested? The answer will probably be yes. Now that is what VeChain is trying to do. Now, Alibaba and Amazon revolutionized e-commerce. They made it incredibly simple for people like you and I to actually go and start online stores without much technical knowledge. And that is where VeChain's vision comes in. They want to enable businesses, governments, and corporations, individuals to actually move their businesses onto the blockchain effortlessly without knowing much technical knowledge. They're basically trying to be blockchain as a service, so you can build on top of it. This allows businesses to easily interact and transact with each other in a frictionless and transparent environment without middlemen or third parties to promote trust. Mainly, as we'll soon see, VeChain targets a lot of economic and business issues surrounding things like data management or data authenticity and supply chain management, like quality control, counterfeits, etc. Now the VechainThor blockchain, which is the VeChain network, is built on proof of authority, which is POA, the consensus algorithm, meta transaction features, proof of transactions fee delegation, on-chain governance mechanisms, and built-in smart contracts. Now, I know all that means nothing to you, but really what you've got to know is that proof of authority means that the nodes have to be authorized before they are able to write new blocks and gain rewards. This system is efficient and allows a higher transaction per second. Now, I know that is still even more technical, so what you really got to know is that you really need a lot of VeChain, and you actually need to have technical knowledge to run a node in order to write and help the VeChain network. So most of us will not be doing that, so we don't gotta worry about that. Again, as passive income investors, we are trying to find coins that can give us passive income while we do a lot of nothing. Now there are three kinds of masternodes, and two of them don't really matter because I don't think you can even get on those nodes anymore, but they're the authority masternodes, the economic X masternodes, and the economic masternode. So really what being a masternode entitles is that it gives you voting rights. So the authority masternodes get 40% of the voting rights, the economic X also gets 40%, and the economic gets 20%. And what do they vote for? Well, they vote for really what goes on, what features goes on into the VeChain blockchain. So I'm gonna go through the authority masternode in a little bit more detail because you can actually be an authority masternode. In order to be one, you need 25 million VeChain tokens. You also have to go through identity verification and a background check. You must hold 25 million VeChain tokens at any time, and that 25 million just accounts for one vote. So being an authority masternode means that you're contributing to the network so that whenever there are transactions and you're packing the blocks or you're writing to the blocks, you get 30% of that transaction fee, and the other 70% is just burned. It just goes to nowhere. Now pretty much anyone can be a stakeholder. You could be an individual, a business, a government agency, a non-profit, etc. But let's take a look at VeChain's price right now. So if you look at VeChain's price, it's about less than a cent, or 1.5 cent, 1.6 cents. So it's really cheap. But you need 25 million in order to be an authority masternode, in which you actually need to have some technical details to run a masternode. So it's really pointless if you're just a passive income investor like I preach. So let's take a look at how much it actually costs. So if we take 25 million, because that's how much you need, times 0.016521, it looks like you need 413,000 in order to run an authority masternode, for which you make 30% of the transaction fees. So if you're staking with Ethereum 2.0, you need 32 Ethereums in order to stake, and at 400,000, that means that you can buy 666 Ethereum at the current price of $600, and that means you can pretty much stake Ethereum 20 times over. But still, there is value with VeChain, but now we're going to go through how VeChain is funded. So they're funded by asset management. So they actually have a third party that invests in cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the proceeds from these investments go towards R&D. They also invest in projects that invest or are looking into building their blockchain with VeChain. They also offer consulting services for companies that are looking towards to build blockchain technology into their businesses. So now we're going to talk about the economics, basically the design philosophy. And VeChain's design philosophy is to protect the transaction fees from the volatility of the market price of the VeChain token. This makes it more suitable for business transactions for enterprises and individuals. So in their model, there are two tokens. One, there's the VeChain token, which is the smart money. It acts like currency. Two, the VechainThor token, and this token acts like gas. It acts like the cost of the fees that are charged when business transactions are made. The point of these two tokens is to separate the costs of using blockchain and market speculation. So it really protects the cost of your transactions from the market speculation of the coin market. So VTHO, or the VechainThor token, is the gas, and you can actually buy this gas or you can generate it automatically by holding VeChain tokens. So as long as your VeChain tokens generate enough of VechainThor tokens, that means that as long as your cost is less than the VechainThor tokens that are generated, then you can use the blockchain for free. The great thing is if you have excess VechainThor tokens, you can actually change it or exchange it with those businesses that are running bigger operations that need more VechainThor tokens. Anyways, you can earn VechainThor by staking in your wallet or running a Masternode. The easiest way to actually earn VechainThor tokens is actually to stake your VeChain with Binance or something, and then the VechainThor tokens will actually be distributed into your wallet automatically on a monthly basis. Alright, now we're finally at the good stuff. We're going to talk about use cases. So the great thing about VeChain is that it is invasive. It's like a weed. If you let it get into your system, you can't get rid of it. So let's talk about our first use case, the food industry. Now the problem with the food industry is that it is crippled with supply chain inefficiencies, frauds, and scandals. So there's very little transparency. For example, it is really hard to find out who is really responsible for contaminated food. So let's imagine this scenario. You're a supermarket and you ordered $1 million worth of chicken. Now $800,000 of that chicken is fine. $200,000 of that chicken is contaminated. What happens right now is $1 million, your whole entire order would have to be thrown out because you don't know which one is contaminated. So that's the exact problem that VeChain is trying to solve. So you don't have to throw your entire $1 million worth of orders. You can actually find out where that $200,000 of contaminated food is and throw that out instead. So participants on this blockchain can actually scan a QR code on the product and actually find out where the product has been. And that detailed information is secured by the blockchain, so it really can't be tampered with. Source, geographic location, where it came from, all of that information is in the blockchain and it's secured and it's trusted. And VeChain's own Internet of Things sensors can actually sense the temperature of where food is kept and collect that information. This reduces the cost for verification, for insurance, and it really improves transparency. Now, Walmart China, VeChain, and PricewaterhouseCoopers have already ran a test for this back in June 2019. And guys, if this spreads like a virus and actually hits the small businesses like small grocery stores, small restaurants, which run on a really tight margin, it's gonna be a game changer because it can reduce the risk and cost for them dramatically. The second use case is anti-counterfeiting and digitization of high-value products. So counterfeit goods are a known big problem. It's really hard to distinguish the real from the fake. So to give you a personal story with this anti-counterfeiting, I was actually scammed by a scam artist back when I was living in Toronto. I was 20 years old, I was naive, and I was walking down the streets of Toronto, and a scam artist picked me up from out of the crowds. He told me that he actually needed help getting to the airport to hop on his truck, and that's when you're naive because you just don't hop onto a stranger's truck. But you know, the guy needed help, so I hopped on his truck, and then he actually started to proceed to sell me these clothes. He's like, yeah, I got these clothes. I'm actually marketing executive. I'm a CEO, and I got these products, these samples, and I need to return them to the store, but I don't have time. I gotta catch a flight. So he said that if I bought these clothes, I could actually return them in the store for like $3,000 or something, and I actually fell for that. And that scam is still going on from what I know reading on Reddit. So if there was a technology that actually allows you to scan a tag of apparel, then I wouldn't have gotten scammed. But it was a good learning lesson, and I just want to be transparent that these kind of problems actually do exist. So having VeChain solve this kind of problem would actually help out a lot of people and prevent the cost of counterfeit goods being sold on the market. Man, if my mom knew, she'd be so disappointed. But VeChain's solution is to tag these products, these luxury goods, with their own NFC tags that are provided by VeChain. This will allow people to trace where the goods actually came from and who actually owns the goods. So the third thing is your digital vehicle passport. So odometer fraud, which is rolling back your mileage, is actually a big problem in Europe, and it costs them around $5.5 to $6.6 billion annually. So VeChain solves this sort of problem by storing that sort of information on the blockchain throughout the entire life of the vehicle. Data is fed from the car through user input and through the user interface on the vehicle. Not only that, but you could also use the blockchain to record servicing history, vehicle ownership, and usage. Now, this sort of information can be shared with insurance providers and buyers. Now, BMW Group and VeChain have already worked together to develop a digital vehicle passport solution called VechainThor that attacks the problem of odometer fraud in Europe and the secondary market. And what we know is that big groups like BMW Group, Walmart China, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and Penfolds, which is one of Australia's largest wineries, I believe, are all working with VeChain's technology to take advantage of the blockchain revolution. Finally, as always, we're gonna end this video with Vechain Staking because we gotta talk about how to earn that passive income. Before staking any coins, please be sure to check out the basic price and volume trends of the coin. According to coin market experts, it looks like the staking yields of VeChain has been decreasing since the beginning of the year. Now, looking at this article from Coin Market Expert, it looks like the staking yields for VeChain on Binance ranges between 3 to 5%, but looking at this, it looks very volatile. It looks like they had a 1.9% and the rest is pretty much 1 or 0% actually on April 20th to 3% at the highest. So I am not too sure about them, and looking on Binance right now, it looks like the estimated annual reward is actually 1 to 3%. You could also stake on Exodus, which I would rather prefer because I'd rather have a wallet where I have the private addresses than stake on an exchange, but I'm not sure about what the rewards are on Exodus. So here are my final thoughts on VeChain. There are some serious use cases here with VeChain, but they have a long list of partners, but it looks like they've only been testing things out. We don't have contracts or anything like that signed, as far as I know, with their partners and VeChain to build on their blockchain technology. It is definitely something to look out for. I wouldn't mind putting $300 to $500 or something around that amount onto VeChain tokens because who knows, they might blow up and be worth a lot. So it's really kind of unexplored territory at this point. It kind of feels like Bitcoin, but I'm not too sure about it because there's not much else that I've known about it other than reading the white paper so far. So invest wisely. Again, the staking yields aren't really worth much right now because they're so volatile. I mean, 1 to 3%. You could get much better investing in something like Polkadot or Tezos instead, but that is really up to you to make the decision for. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video and you would like more, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and watch my other videos on passive income investing.